Welcome back to another warm-up show with the hockey coach, Gros Coach FRENCHY, directly for the beautiful country of Terran. We have to go all the way to find our co-host directly from Toronto, our friend, Mr. ENORTAP, back in the house.
Hello, happy Wednesday, Hockey Nation and Coach. Late night tonight, but all games important at this stage of the game.
Yeah, be absolutely about that. 10 game last night, 3 more tonight and more tomorrow. And we are the hit at the end of the season 2022-2023. And the Montreal Canadiens are eliminated of the playoff. They are done. Cook and over for the Montreal Canadiens. But we have some people in the chat, so welcome everybody. Thanks to be with the Hockey National Show. We're going to welcome
Of course.
follow do Mr. Bryce. We call him the Arrowhead, but look like his name is Bryce Mr. Tap. So welcome back in the house.
Bryce is going to change. He's going to change the name, Bryce. It's too long, Bryce.
Yeah, absolutely right about that. So Mr. Gary Cournoyeur knocked the door with the Roadrunners directly for the belle province du Québec.
Gary, how are you?
What about Mr. Rick Bengal and Dimitra Bengal directly from Halifax in the Maritime?
Sir Rick, welcome aboard.
Let's go back with this. What kind of emoji it look like? It's an M with the dots.
Yeah, it looks like a person. It looks like a logo. It's a logo.
It's a logo. I would like curious to know why this logo. But maybe you can tell us about that. Nothing wrong with the logo at all. Just curious about this one. But we have a moderator, Luciano Graziano, is in the house.
Hey, Luciano. How's it going?
From Detroit, Melissa Zabrin knocked the door. Welcome back.
Woo! Melissa, welcome. All the way from
Ron the Kings, welcome back directly from Utah. Moderator.
Hey, Ron. How's it going?
And from Finland, our friend Jarmo Vartanen knocked the door.
Jarmo, moi.
And then we have Keith Sweeney. I believe this is the first time. Keith, welcome at the Hockey Nation Live Show, the warm-up show.
Hi, Keith.
Then we have a couple of people just talk each other. That is an Iron Man, Mr. Tap.
The Iron Man. Oh, interesting.
Yep. That's the reason about that. RJ Calabro is in the house. Welcome back in the house, Mr. RJ Calabro.
Hello, RJ.
So we just hit everybody in the chat. Thanks so much to be a part of the show, everybody. Like we do at the beginning of the show, Mr. Nathan, we ask you, what are you looking for? Last night, 10 game on the program. And we have 10 fun team win, the Rangers, the Flyers, the Nashville, the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Blues, the Dallas, the Calgary, San Jose, Edmonton, and the Detroit.
Oh, coach. I'm going to start with the one that gave me the most heartache. And you know which one that is, right? How do you lose to the San Jose Sharks when your life is on the line? I do not get it. 3-0. This is more than what meets the eye. And this is the way we were talking last year with this team, with Winnipeg. There's deeply something wrong with the chemistry of that team. There's a couple bad apples, I think, on that team. And it really raises some flags because, over the past few weeks, there's been a lot of discussion, especially the last couple of nights, about Pierre-Luc Dubois. And, maybe he's not part of the problem here right now with Winnipeg, but maybe his business and making it known that he wants out has created quite the disturbance among the change room. On top of that, you look at guys like Scheifele and Wheeler in particular, and they're doing absolutely nothing to contribute to this team moving forward. Now, I still maintain that they could and should and probably will get that last playoff spot. but it's not going to be an easy road anymore. And it's really going to depend. Like Calgary right now, I think is sitting pretty because you look at their strength of schedule. Guess what? They got the easiest schedule remaining than all the teams that are left. Right? They have. I wrote it down here today. They have Chicago, San Jose, Anaheim, Vancouver twice, Nashville, and a head-to-head against Winnipeg. So we'll see where it goes, but it's not good news in Winnipeg. Something is going to definitely have to happen there. And again, we were saying this last year. I thought this team really was going to implode, but they came out really strong out of the gates at the beginning of the year. I would say up until pretty much Christmas, but maybe they were just an aberration. And until you get rid of the rotten apples, you're not going to move forward, no matter how much talent you have on that team. But enough about Winnipeg. The other game, almost in the same boat, is Pittsburgh and Detroit. Pittsburgh pretty much has thrown in the white towel, and yet, they come out strong, and you get a hat trick scored by Perron yesterday. That really helped the cause for Detroit. In the third period, when the score was still just 3-3, Pittsburgh had done a good job of coming back from a 3-0 deficit. And you have the outcome of the game in your hands, and they get outscored by a margin of 4-1. And they only had 11 shots on net, Detroit. That's unforgivable. And again, we talked about the goaltending situation there, and clearly DeSmith did not do his job. And the fact that they had to go with DeSmith speaks loudly about what's happening with Jari as well with that team. So who knows here?
Jerry, I think he's
It's
hurt
not going
right
to.
now. So
Yeah. And again, a lot of players right now are hurt, but this is when they need them the most, and they're not showing up. A lot of these players, if they, as you said yesterday, if they only had a goalie, I think this team, like this playoff race, would be pretty much over. I think the Islanders and Pittsburgh would have it, but they've left the door wide open at this stage. I would even venture to say, I know it's an extreme long shot, but maybe Ottawa has still a shot at 77 points with 8 games to go. They're only, I think, 5 or 6 behind Pittsburgh, if I'm not mistaken. Anything can happen. They don't have the most difficult of schedules left. It's somewhere in the middle of the road, around 15th or 16th in the league. So you just never know. It's these last few games, it's going to be the teams that get the hottest, right? And the teams that want it. And you're going to see the pretenders coming up to the top, and the other teams that aren't there are going to fall off quicker than you can imagine. Um, the other game, not a lot of surprises. The Rangers, of course, winning comfortably 6-2 over Columbus. Um, just when you think you're ready to bury the Tampa Bay Lightning coach, don't. And remember what I mentioned yesterday. I said they've been on a bad streak, but in the last, 5 or 6 weeks, whenever there's been a team that you think, oh, they're going to clean them out tonight because they're a much stronger team, whether it's Boston or Toronto or Colorado, Tampa Bay finds that extra gear inside of them to rise to the top. And yesterday was another clear cut example of that, beating or defeating the Carolina Hurricane. I know Carolina's also been on a bad streak as well lately, but when you have Vasilevsky turned aside 31 shots yesterday and kept them relevant, and just sent a little reminder that don't count us out. And what other game did we have? There's St. Louis, Vancouver. That was to be expected, a high scoring game with two teams that give up a lot of goals. Neither Bennington nor Demko really played a very good game. Save percentages in the low 800s. It was good to see some new faces score yesterday. Like Verana is up to his 8th goal now in St. Louis. You had Quinn Hughes had a couple of goals, I believe, for Vancouver. Kuzmenko continues to score for the Canucks and is very quietly now with 2 extra goals yesterday, up to 36, which is quite amazing. And Falk, even for St. Louis, has had a quiet. He's put together a very quiet but impressive year himself for that team. Dallas continued to win. And the big game of the night, Calgary and LA. Calgary just won't fizzle out. They're right back into this now, especially with the loss at the hands of Winnipeg there. They're right back in this race. They're only 2 points behind Winnipeg. And like we said last night, these two have a date next week. And you can rest assured the winner of that is going to win this division. Or not the division, sorry, the last playoff spot.
Yeah, absolutely about that. If you look about this, if I had a golden night, I would be really concerned with Edmonton score 7 goals against them, and then if you score 4 goals, you should win any game in NHL. If you
Sure,
have a good
sure.
goaltender, and that's what's supposed to be, and they cannot. Yesterday, they gave 7 goals, and Edmonton was a back-to-back game, by the way. Like, you know what I mean? It's not like they was restless; they was tired. That's my biggest concern about that. Vancouver lost 1 point because they gave 6 goals. They scored 5 goals. They should win that game. Pittsburgh scored 4 goals. You should win that game. They gave 7 of them. Problem is where? Again, the goaltender. So we don't have no
That's the common
goaltender.
denominator.
You know what I mean? Like, whatever happened with Pittsburgh or Florida Panthers, or they're not going to make it. Like, they just, you cannot put Pittsburgh right now and to play the way they play right now. It just not make sense to me about that's happening last night. And you have a couple of surprises like the Nashville beat the Boston Bruins, then that's supposed to happen. And the Winnipeg should not win that. You know what I mean? If you lose again like this and you show up, Pierre Dubois had 3 goals in the last 20 games. He has 6 points in the last 20 games. So
Well,
he's
look at
he's not the
Scheifele.
only one. Just because I just checked the
Yeah,
stat for him, but you have other player that's not performed for Winnipeg Jet, and maybe come with Josh Morrissey. He's a little bit more quiet for the last 10 games with an injury, but still, um,
yeah. Actually, Morrissey has done his job. But if you look at Kyle Connor, hasn't scored in a long time. Scheifele has been invisible in about 18 games now, and it was his turnover yesterday when it was just 1-0. His turnover that created that shorthanded goal. And if you listen to the comments that Bonus made after the or during the press conference, I I think you don't even have to read between the lines. He said it. He said that some players think that they're giving everything, but they've got lots in the tank left, and they're just not contributing like others are on this team. So, without naming people, he's thrown a few players under the bus for sure. Now we'll see if they respond or whether the wheels come off 100%.
start of the day, Mr. ENORTAP last night. RNH 5.1 goal for assist for the Oilers. Rimmer shoot out the Winnipeg Jet, but he saved 41 save. We can mention Vasilevsky did it again with Carolina, but only 29 face, I believe. David Perron hat trick. Only 19 goals for Perron. A little bit surprised me. Perron always been scored 25 goals plus. So a bit a quiet season for him. And we want to welcome back Joseph Laham is in the house. Welcome back, Joseph. Thanks for being with
Hey,
us.
Joseph.
Danny T knocked the door. Welcome back, Danny T. We have Melissa. We talk about her later. I think I saw someone. Pierre Martin. Pierre Martin is in the house, Monsieur ENORTAP. Just join us for all the news, guys,
Hey,
about the
Pierre.
league. Talking about RNH, Mr. Tap, I'm supposed to talk about Montreal Canadiens, but I want to talk about something to you. If I can find it, I would be good for you, but I'm not sure I can find it. Here we go. Connor McDavid, Mr. Tap, is, in baseball, we talk about the triple crowd and, and the horse. You can talk about the triple crown. And but hockey is rare. You can get a scorer can have most of the point, assist, and goal dominate on three categories. Not happen a lot. Wayne Gretzky and maybe a few of them, but waiting on that. So that's happening. Mr. Top McDavid dominate on the three categories right now. So that's pretty impressive about that. But RNH is at 96 points, Mr. Top. And if he does 100 point, he will have three players and the same thing going to have 100 point. My question to you, Mr. Hunter, which the last team did it?
Very good question. The last team with three 100-point scorers. I mean, my mind automatically goes to Montreal, but that would have been a really long time ago. But I'm sure it's been done since.
So people in the chat can answer that one over there, by the way.
I'll stick to Montreal, but I could see even the old
Which
Oilers.
team have three players with 100 point? And same team in one season. They not finish at the top three, 1, 2, 3 on the scorer, but they have three players in the same team with 300 point,
100-point scorers. Yeah.
We're going to see if someone in the chat can step up here or not, Mr. Tap. We'll see what's happened about that for sure.
And the thing we're looking like.
Mr. ENORTAP, you remember, we ask you your second option?
Lemieux.
So we'll go with Pittsburgh. He is right about Pittsburgh. Lemieux, Yager, and
Francis.
Ron Francis.
No.
Yeah, absolutely about that, Mr. ENORTAP. Which team have the scorer number 1, number 2, and number 3 with 100 points and dominate the top scorer the same year?
They were in 1, 2, 3?
1, 2, 3.
Wow. Oh, my goodness. I don't know. That's a good question. I'm not sure.
Pierre Martin said Edmonton, so I don't know if Edmonton was the first question, second question, so. Pierre Martin, but you're absolutely right. The Edmonton, Mr. ENORTAP, did it.
It is Edmonton. Oh, okay.
And which three players did it, Mr. ENORTAP?
I guess we're looking at Gretzky, we're looking at Curry, and we're looking at...
There's the two easy players. Now you have to another players right there. That's but a choice there. Maybe some people would be concerned.
Anderson.
No, I'm surprised. No. I thought you're going to take me Mark Messier, or Paul Coffey. But Paul Coffey was not there that year, was straight. So it's Mark Messier with Gretzky and Corey, Mr. ENORTAP.
Right. Messier.
Yeah, everything like that. Then prior to that, Mr. ENORTAP, another team did it.
Montreal?
Which team did it?
Montreal?
No. By the way,
Islanders.
They have 4 players did 100 points, and 3 of them dominate the league, Mr. ENORTAP. Which team?
LA? No.
The Boston Bruins, 1971. Phyllis Puisto.
Yeah.
Ken Hodge, Johnny Busick, and the last one, Mr. ENORTAP, is Bobby Orr.
Bobby Orr, yes, of course.
So that was the dominate on that. Sorry about that. It's a little bit quiz, Frenchy quiz in the middle of the nowhere. about that one
Uh,
there. So I just want to share with you, Mr. Tap. Let's go back. What we're supposed to do is right here. Montreal Canadiens played last night against the Flyers. This is one of the worst game I did. Play by play was boring. At the end, I was sleepy. I want to go to bed because it was boring. It was not excited at all. But Primo was between the pipe, Mr. in the top for the Montreal Canadiens for one game only. Left the team right away after that. Farrell played his first game for the Montreal Canadiens, number 57. Gallagher scored a goal, his third goal in the last 3 games straight, back-to-back goal. And then RHP scored his 13th goal of the season, Mr. Tap. Do you want another question?
sure. I'm not
Right.
guaranteeing an answer, but
And the Montreal Canadiens this season are the all
yes.
organization from the
Hmm.
ECL, Laval Rocket, and the Montreal Canadiens. Who has the most goal this season in this organization by any plus?
RHP.
RHP, you're absolutely right, Mr. Tap. 28 goals, 13 with Montreal, 15 with the Laval Rocket, following by Anthony Richard with 27 and Cole Caulfield at 26, Mr. Tap. So you nailed it
Well,
about
20.
this one over there. And Jonathan Drouin have only 2 goals, just in case some people asking me that question. I know about that. Mr. Tap, what do you think about the performance Montreal Canadiens yesterday? Primo, Farrell, Gallagher, RHP, or maybe other players, but I don't see anybody really have a good game.
Oh, sorry. Excuse me.
That's all right.
What did I think? Well, I'm not surprised. I think I mentioned it yesterday. Don't look at that game last night to try to get any excitement. I suspected it was going to be a boring game between two teams that weren't overly motivated to want to try to win. In terms of Primo, nothing good, nothing bad. I'll be honest with you. I thought he was okay. Um, Gallagher, I've got to say, his last couple of goals, I've seen more of a zing to his shot. And that's a good sign because if he can at least return to his regular snapshot or wrist shot that he had and produce and get involved in slightly different ways, this guy can still contribute to the team and he can set us a positive example. So I give him credit for that. RHP, continues to do what he does, and that's give 100% every time. The one question I do have, Coach, and it's maybe not necessarily related to that, and I did look at your video as well about that you made about Martin St. Louis and Hughes. Why is he upset at him? Um, I I don't understand why Martin St. Louis would be upset in the first place. Like, why would he be upset about having to play Farrell? I don't get it.
Because imposed to him. So the organization tell him you have to play Sean Farrell tonight. You have to
Okay,
play
that's
Caden Primo tonight.
but that's his boss. Like,
Yeah,
there's a hierarchy of needs here. Like, and
yeah.
Hughes is your boss. He's telling
Great
you to
point you
play
bring
this
this,
player.
Mr. Tap, about that. Before I answer to
Yeah.
you, I just want to share it with you guys. Hughes upset Martin St. Louis. This is the video of the day. But not only the video of the day, because tonight at 9 o'clock, I'm going to talk about the Martin St. Louis angry to can use what. So there will be the subject of the Absent Nation Live Tonight show. We're going to talk about that situation for sure. But I want to give you a little bit an information right there. Um, this is a learning curve for Martin St. Louis. No
It
experience,
better be.
right?
Yeah.
And every time when I learn, when you go from you change the level of hockey, right? You go from single A youth hockey program, then you go to double A, then you go to triple A, then you go junior, and you go the next level, the next level. What happening? You are less in charge as a coach. You have other things
Exactly.
come in. Now, he play in the NHL. I will say to you, 30 to 40%. 30 to 40%. The decision come from the upstairs. So Martin said we never been that way, never be teach that way. So he's a learning curve for him too to hear someone knock the door and say, "Hey, tonight you have to let play Sean Farrell and you have to let play Caden Primo." Well, we don't know, Martin Saint does. When you negotiate like that with an agent, everything like that, maybe they promise to Farrell you're going to play right away. Martin Saint he tried to build a culture. He tried to sell everything to the player. The player have to all in. They have to accept to buy in, all in, and do it. And they have that kind of culture they build, and he doing a very good job, Martin Saint Louis. But when you impose a players with no deserve it, and he never have any rewards because and put him right away, you have to remove someone when he for the last 20 game or 50 game or 30 game or 6 game gave everything for the logo for the team, and now you have to remove him because you put a new players like Sean Farrell, and that's
But
changed
he
the
didn't.
culture about that. That's what
But he
Martin Saint
didn't.
is upset about that. So
He was a replacement for Doc, who has an upper body injury.
no, it was no Doc. He was supposed to play, and at the last hour before the game start, Doc he got hurt, but he was not ready, and now they bring back Chris Tierney and the team.
Tierney, yeah.
Yeah. So the night before Mr. Tap, he sent Kovacevic on breakaway, and he sent Michael Peseta. Why they did that? For rewards, right? And to lip up the bench to create some kind of enthusiasm if something happened. Just Kovacevic on the eye for the shootout, you can see the reaction of the players and the team. That's how you build a culture, the enthusiasm. They have to finish strong. They have 10 games to go, 9 games to go, 8 games to go, 7 games to go, right? I always use the analogy of marathon when you go at that moment. When you got eliminated, right? It's like a marathon. When you run a marathon, 26.3, until the 19 mile, everything is looking great. Life is great. You hit the 20, it's starting to be hard. The 21 is that's where you hit the wall. From 21 to 23, that's what the biggest mindset as a runner. That's what you struggle. You have to find another motivation. You have to find another expression.
Gear.
Then after
Yeah.
that, the 23rd, 24, 25, 26 Mr. Tap, that's where you have a choice to finish the line, the cross line, or to increasing your pace and to get the little bit finish strong your marathon. Beat your pace you want to realize, blah blah blah. Same thing in hockey right now. Martin Saint Louis is on the marathon right now. For he is at the mile number 25. And now he try to cross the cross line with the same kind of culture, the enthusiasm, the positive, the all in, and buy in, everything like that. So for him, he see this friendly as the management, and that's the reason he got upset about that because they told him you have to let him, he has to play tonight. Come back last season, Mr. Tap, Jordan Harris, he took him 11 days before he played with the Montreal Canadiens. They play at least 3 games before, so they acclimate Harris with the practice, with the teammates, the system. Farrell didn't have no practice, nothing. So that's another view of what I can bring to you about Martin. So we're going to talk more about this on another clock, but that's the best answer I can give you. And that's the reason what I believe, the reason what
Yeah,
Martin said was upset about
I
that.
under yeah, I understand that, coach, but at the end of the day, Martin St. Louis used to be a player himself. I'm sure he's been on teams
But he
where
never
at
get
the
that
end of the
question, Mr.
year,
Natap. He never get that as a coach.
no,
So
but
as a coach, the
he would have
biggest
seen a
problem is
rookie.
not the him upset to youth. The biggest problem is when the reporter asked him about Farrell, right? And he said, "This is a question for Ken Hughes." Then another reporter, 30 seconds after that, asked the same question. Why is the question for Ken Hughes? And that gave him a little bit more upset for Ken Hughes, for Martin Saint Louis. There's another learning curve. How can you deal with a reporter, right? And he can go around. And that said, this is a question for Ken Hughes because now you're going to go back with another question to reporter. What he said to you, it's just a decision of the team, and you have to suck it up and you have to go move on after that. If it was said just because of this, Sean Farrell, you don't have that kind of another question for the another reporter. And that's what is a learning curve to him to under the mic and to go that one over there. So For me, that's another reason why happening uh, on around the team yesterday. Martin Saint Louis with the situation with Sean Farrell.
I get it, but we're talking one game. Again, if it's about ego, it's one thing. But to think that what I build
It's
a
all about the
building
culture, Mr.
culture
Antap.
here.
It's not about the culture.
Yeah,
It's all about the
but
culture
keep
for
this.
Martin Saint Louis.
Yeah, but keep this in mind, Coach. Right now, yeah, okay. You send Petzetta and Kovacevic out there to take a shootout for you, and everybody's happy when they come up with a victory and they're playing, but
So why do you think he did
they
that?
have nothing. They have nothing at stake here. Like this is what we call the honeymoon stage. If he can't, as a coach, if he can't handle this situation where there is no pressure, what happens in a year or two when Montreal maybe is pushing to make a playoff spot and now he doesn't handle the players well, or he's upset because Hughes told him play so and so. First of all, I don't think Hughes is that kind of a person that he wants to micromanage Martin St. Louis. I think this had to do with whatever he and Farrell had agreed upon prior to him signing to be on Montreal. And maybe he just said, I want to see you for a game or two. We're going to give you the quick opportunity. And given what the year is at this stage, you should welcome that. I just don't see why Martin St. Louis would be that upset. That's all.
But because that's the reason he tried to build a culture. So
But
the culture
he was
is,
he
why
was
do you think
losing
he sent
anyways.
Kovacevic and he sent Peseta?
Well, if his culture, remember we talked about this
Rewards
before.
for rewards, right? So
Not not at one point.
if you work hard, you're going to pay. You're going to get rewards at some point. That's the culture you put inside the team, and that's what
I
great
agree with
over there.
that.
Now Farrell, to answer back to Farrell, what is wrong to not use Farrell Saturday against Carolina? When he know the system, when he learn the players, the teammates, and the way the Montreal does the things. That's what is the thing. Now, if you put someone, you remove someone, the 90 other players say, oh, you know what? Maybe next week we get another player going to inside the team, and whatever we did here, it's not a big deal anymore. So that's where you build a culture. You have always to be careful because you run 20 players. You don't run one players. So for me, I would do exactly what Martin said we did. He did not do well on the mic, but to be upset about this, yes. Hey, wait, listen, we worked for 9 months here. And now you're going to bring me a players come from nowhere from NCAA. He never played any game in the nation. You want to put him to show him? Why not to wait game number 75? What a big difference between 74 and 75 at the end of the day. But for the culture, that's really important. But for the players, it's not a big deal. So that's what for Martin Saint Louis is the most important thing is the build the culture. So the player can understand what it takes to play a part of this team. So Farrell would be ready. Farrell was completely lost last night. They don't have a bad game, but that line was nowhere to go
Yeah,
because they have no
I get
chemistry,
that.
never played together, and he played on the second line. So
Right.
that's what I said. It was not a great time for him to be insert inside of that game last night. It should be wait a couple of days. Same thing with Caden Primo. I don't get it
Okay, but
what
these
Primo does this right now. He's
yeah,
born from Montreal. He's from Philadelphia, France, everything like that. But I don't get it at all.
the thing is we're not privileged obviously to be inside the change room or even any communication that was done between Hughes and Martin St. Louis. Maybe they even Hughes was asked by some outside team. I'm in town tonight by some scout from another team. I want to see Caden Primo net and I want to see Farrell tonight. Okay, I'm going to go to my coach. You're playing him tonight and explain. Like if they maybe if they had communicated this, this would have gone a long way.
But he
This
cannot explain
this
this to
could
the people.
no, you can't. But then he shouldn't react that way as a coach because he knows the real reason. So he shouldn't try to go to a press conference and say, "That's a question you need to ask my general
That's what he
manager."
said. That Gasker can use what this is a question for Ken. That's what he said twice. That's a question for Ken about that one over there. But for Martin Saint Louis, him is not. It's not about this. It's the culture. Why we have to remove Montembeau right now after he played a solid year, and now to set what we have to give a game now for Caden Primo. That's what is the most important thing is the inside the locker room, not the outside locker room. And that's what the biggest problem for me last night. It was, hey, why are you going to disturb my room right now? We have an amazing, great year. We just beat yesterday. We are right now enthusiastic, happy, and now you just remove out the fun of the game because you put Farrell and Kid Primo because you bring them, not because
One
the team
game,
or we have an injury here. You select them to go there. For what?
but
What is the
it's
purpose behind that?
but it's one game, coach. And we knew the importance of not winning this game as well. Now, I'm not saying that that enters into the equation, but the fact that they lost that game means a lot. It means good news for Montreal. But that's aside from this discussion. But
Well, I don't think so
I
that way they
understand.
see
I
that way. I
understand.
don't think so. They go for that, try to lose that
Oh,
game. But for me, it was
don't
not
be
necessary way
surprised, coach.
to let it go. Kaden Primo is not change anything anyway. That's this game. Can want to remember Kaden Primo? So, oh, maybe we should keep him. It's no matter if you don't give him 5 games straight, the last 8 game. But it's just he just waste time last night. That's for me. That's one. He's not going to return with Montreal Canadiens because they have no call up anymore. They have only one to go for the next 7 game. So they just burned a call up for Laval last night. Secondly, Laval is on the playoff. They just skip that one. They just move on. So you have a lot of things I don't get it, Kidden Primo, the purpose
Yes,
behind.
yes.
On the flip side, for me, is the room. The room is more important thing to anything. Farrell could wait next week, play 5 game or play 7 game. You will know already what Sean Farrell look like. But you protect your players. That's what you do. You protect your room. That's the locker room is the most important thing. It's the biggest thing you have in your hands. And you destroy that room, the trust, because every day they talk to them. They tell them, if we do that, and we're going to go this and this. And then you have one thing from the top, screw the locker room inside of that one. That's what you have that kind of upset, Martin. You'll be fine tomorrow. It'll be all right. But you have to deal with those kind of management. But sometimes the room is bigger and stronger at anything else. And you have some condition like that. I know said everybody is upset, but for the culture, for where we at, for myself, for what I can see, Farrell could wait Saturday in Carolina. He could practice with the team, figure out with who he's going to play, everything like that. I have nothing to huge Farrell last night. You have no reason why Kaden Primo should be between the pipe for Montreal Canadiens. They don't know Gordon never see him in the NHL. That's not going to change anything last night. For me, that was completely a waste of time. And you know what? Primo right now he did not deserve to have a game last night. At the end of the day, whenever he have a good run for the last 10 game, 15 game, overall, listen, you have 5 years to prove it. So as for me, it was not appropriate to do that. Montebo deserved it, and for me, it was the way I would do this on that way. But again, 40% of everything happening in the NHL, that's you just said. You're just talking about, we want to see our players, everything like that. That's coming for that one, obviously, and NHL. So there's a deal. What Martin said, we need to learn to have those kind of information about that. So
Okay.
that's what happening, Mr. ENORTAP. We have a few people in the chat. Obviously, we lost the conversation left and right. We have a few people knock the door. Willie is in the house. Paul is in the house. Andre just knocked the door. Thanks so much about that. We appreciate a lot of comments. I can pick it up, but I cannot. Luciano ask a question. Thanks so much, Andre. I appreciate that. If you're putting your trust in Martin St. Louis to develop this team, and then you go over him and tell him who to play, this got a big problem about that one. We have a few people in the chat. Thanks so much for all the likes you did so far. And coach, you know what's going on as you coach, Paul. I can see the others think Farrell, as was his game. I think his biggest question would ask Farrell how was his game. Well, Farrell he don't have a bad game. You know what I mean? But he did not do a great game. But the line Drouin and Grenierer as an underlying number, Mr. Top, it was below like any other line. They struggle as the line together, so you cannot blame Farrell. He sees some flash, can run the puck, he had good vision, you can see that. But the biggest adjustment, guys, for the NCAA to NHL, Mr. Top, they play with men already NCAA, right? But
Yeah.
when you play NHL, the players in NHL knows to use their body. They knows what to do with their body versus the NCAA. So that it's more physical. It's not physical. It's more like they
It's a
use the
faster
body
game,
properly versus
but
the
it's also a
NCAA.
faster game. It's a faster game, and you have to think quicker.
Yeah, yeah. I'm talking about the physicality of the game. So the pace of the game, of
Yeah,
course,
yeah,
is
yeah.
faster, everything like that. But I'm just talking about it's not like you get hit harder or you get hit, but it's just they use their body properly and they are more smarter hockey player from the top to the bottom versus only maybe line per team. And most of the time, they're not going to play in NHL anyway. Also mechanical, right? Thanks so much, Aral. We try to get this one. Primo is giving Allen a few games. Oh, Allen has last 8 on the note.
The Bruins are in first place in the NHL right now with a record of 57-12 and
I don't know. Siri want to talk to me.
It's
So
Hughes. It's Hughes telling you
I don't
why.
know. She don't like about this. I like the eating. Got a girl on my team. Glenn, welcome aboard. Why not to bring Primo? The team is not good and they are not going anywhere. So bring players, let him up to play this last game to gain more experience run with Kings. But it's because Laval Rocket are on the playoff. They try to make the Laval Rocket better, and then at the same time they have Montembeau and Allen about that. So they have no injury. Now you can slip one game like that, but it was not appropriate for me to get Primo. You already know what he looked like. If you call out for one game, you return him for the rest of the year. That's one of my biggest problem about Caden Primo last night for that one. We have Chicago is in the house, Mr. Tap. Devon Levi from 7-1 pick and 3 to NHL for NHL. More, it should be only be the team not that should play until the end. The experience and Otan. But guys play great. That Mr. Tap will go around of 5:45. I'll give you a little bit more time to do that. Have a lot of good thing. I can talk to you, Mr. Tap. I have no time to take you. NHL news, McDavid, we talk about this Mr. Top. NHL coach, no contract. We're going to talk about this tomorrow. So it is like the overtime pound. We never get that one over there. The NHL callback of the years. And Mr. Nathan, we did not talk about this. Lalonde got kicked out last night.
Yeah, yeah, and justifiably. I mean, I think he went a little bit overboard in terms of his approach with the ref, and I'm not saying he was justified or not justified. It's just in terms of what is your reaction to the situation, and if you go beyond a certain point, you've got to accept the outcome. It's like basketball. Like you can argue about a foul, and a referee will take it up to a certain point, and if you go beyond that line, or in baseball, same thing. You can argue with an ump, and then if you start to make it personal, and I think that that's what was happening, goodbye.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Lalonde was interesting about this. I think it's like, again, it's on a rule where we don't know if he's good, he's bad. You're pushing the pad of the goalie and interference, no interference. It's just a great scale sometimes return that. But I want to mention to you yesterday, if you follow, guys, the Calgary Flame against the Kings, at 12 seconds, they have an onside. You have a blue line, Mr. Tap, offside or onside. Understand that?
Yeah.
All right. But when you have offside, Mr. Tap, you can go again. So you can ask the referee to check you can call for checking the offside. But do you know in NHL you cannot call an outside call. You cannot review an outside call.
No, you
So
can't review it. No.
he cannot review it. So Calgary guys did not score. But if he was on outside, he did not score. But if he score, we cannot reviewing this, and then Kings tie the game 2-2. That's going to be very controversy call on that moment again. And that's mentioned if the King win an overtime 3-2. But imagine, always said me, every time you have something like that, Mr. Tap, imagine yourself or imagine this on game number 7, Stanley Cup winner.
Yeah. Yeah, of course, of course.
So it's very interesting about that. So you can review or request to check a offsite, but you cannot check an onsite. So I
Right.
just want to bring to you. So many people did not know about that. I just want sharing about this for that. But Mr. Nata, before we go, we have to give a little bit information. The winner of the boss last night. But very quickly, we're going to bring King of Gamer, I believe, right? With 7-3, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Here we go. King is on the bus. On the flip side, Mr. Tap, we have many people go on the Gel County, on the Chicago County Gel. I'm one of them again. Considers my slump, and that's okay with me. Anyway, Coach Danny, Luciano, Chicago, run with King all of the Gel for the next 24 hours. We congratulate
You
each one of
almost,
them. And
Coach, you
I
almost took
want to
all your
mention to you
moderators with
and
you.
time, Mr. Tap, to locking up us for the next 24 hours. Are you
My
ready?
pleasure.
Here we go.
Let's do it.
That's it. That's all. They all go there. We have 3 games in the shot right now. And we'll see. Don't forget, guys, to click on the like. If you don't mind, that'd be great. That'd be awesome.
You
First of
took,
all,
Coach, you took all the moderators with you to jail.
I know, right?
Almost all of them.
Yeah. I don't know why the reason behind that is just like not good. I'm not really good right now for the last 2 weeks, and it pissed me off too much about that whole thing. I just don't really care about those
It's
predictions.
okay. It's all
Here we
in fun.
go. Mr. ENORTAP, Florida versus Toronto Maple Leaf.
You want to start with the hot one of the night, eh? Okay,
Here we
so
go.
yeah. Well, the Florida Panthers are going to try to end a 4-game losing streak that I think has really severely damaged their playoff chances tonight when they face the Toronto Maple Leafs, who are obviously playoff bound. The Panthers, they opened up a 4-game trip with a 5-2 loss to the Ottawa Senators on Monday night, and that really was a result that helped the Leafs officially clinch a playoff spot. Um, it was inevitable at some point, but it happened during that game. Florida allowed in their game, in their loss, 3 power play goals on Monday night. And if they don't rectify that in a hurry, Toronto Maple Leafs could really make them pay for this. They have to stay out of the penalty box if they have any chance of defeating the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Leafs, on the other hand, they're returning home from a 3-2-0 road trip that ended with that victory over Nashville by a score of 3-2 on Sunday. One day after a 5-3 setback at the hands of the Carolina Hurricanes. Wall played in that game. He made 23 saves for the Leafs and really was the difference, I think, in that game. In 8 career games so far, he's 6-2-0 with a 922 save percentage and a 239 goals against average. So it's not bad. It's it's very promising for the Leafs' future to have Wall, and maybe he develops into the goalie that they've sought for over a long time. The next stage for the Leafs is to try to clinch second place in the division and get home ice advantage over Tampa Bay, which looks like it's inevitable, but until you actually do it, there's still 9 games remaining. So I think they're going to want to try to do it as quickly as possible, and and ensure that there's at least that much of an advantage by having one extra playoff game on your own home ice. So I'm going to take the Leafs tonight. It looks like it's Bobrovsky against Samsonov. I'm going to take the Leafs to win this one by a score of 5-2.
5-2. I go with 5-3 Toronto, Mr. ENORTAP.
Okay. Toronto 5-3. Okay, gotcha. And the next game, team that's been rolling lately, when pretty much a lot of people had doubted this team, they've reached down low and really have uh, played to their max. It's the total opposite of what I guess Winnipeg's not done, and that's to dig inside of themselves and and ensure that they stay in a playoff position. The Capitals, they come into this game after they lost or are losing 4 out of their 5 previous games, including that 4-3 defeat to the Pittsburgh Penguins on Saturday night. They're currently in 6th place in the Metro, and for all intents and purposes, will miss the playoffs for the first time in many years. Injuries really hurt this team, Washington, that is, all season long. But overall, they just didn't have enough firepower on this team to make a push for the playoffs. Obviously, would have helped to have those injuries, but we're looking at a team that's gotten slower over the years, and that helps to explain why they're in the predicament that they are today. The Islanders, they start a 3-game road trip tonight in Washington after a nice 5-1 victory over the New Jersey Devils on Monday night. They're 4th in the Metro with a record of 38-28-9, and fighting for every single point, as they're trying to hold on to the first wild card spot in the Eastern Conference. The Islanders are not the most exciting of teams in the NHL, but they always seem to find a way to pull out wins, and it's pretty much based on their defensive structure and getting that early lead, and then just really relying on their defense, which, by the way, ranks 8th in the NHL, to sort of protect that lead. And the fact that they have a goalie like Sorokin allows them to play that way as well. Brock Nelson has led the way for them all year long. So I'm going to take tonight the New York Islanders to continue their winning ways over Washington by a score of 3-2.
3-2 missing on top. I take the Islanders, but the score 4-2 missing on top.
Okay. 4-2. Got it.
4-2 and 3-2. That's confirmed here. Last game of the night, missing on top. This is a huge one for both teams because they are involved with this. By the way, missing on top, if Islanders win tonight, this gave them 99.9 chance to stay in the wild, to get the wild card. About that
Oh,
one.
yeah. Yeah.
And if Florida lost tonight, Mr. Tap, they could get passed by Ottawa and by the Buffalo if both of them win their next games.
Absolutely. And that's why I thought, wouldn't it be nice if Ottawa could really make a push at the end and put themselves ahead of Pittsburgh? That would make it very exciting for the city of Ottawa and the underdogs of the Senators here. In our last game, it took all year, Coach, but here we are. Colorado's finally in a position to take over first place in the division. On Wednesday night, really, brings a battle for top spot in the Central Division. As the Wild, they head to the mountains to take on the Colorado Avalanche. They lead the division with 95 points, and the Avalanche are just 1 point behind at this stage. So both teams have done extremely well, especially as of late. The Avalanche have won 9 of their last 10 games. The Wild have won 7 of their last 10 games. They have very comparable stats when you look at it in that, especially in that time frame of the last 10 games. Each defense has allowed 2.4 goals per game, whether it's at home or on the road. And they both scored exactly 3.5 goals per game over the last 10 games. So I anticipate this to be a very close, hard battled and fought out game. But I like Colorado to finally take over this division, and looks like Gustafson's been confirmed. Georgiev was likely last time I checked,
It's all good.
but
Yeah, both of them.
yeah, I don't anticipate him not playing. So I'll take Colorado by a score of 5-3.
5-3. Wow, this is that surprised me. I was said to you go with 3-2. I go with 4-2, and then Tinet. But I was
Me
said I
too.
would not be surprised this game is 3-1 or 2-1 or under. I feel like the
You
Gustafson
think
is
it's
good.
under?
Canada is going to put some pressure. Minnesota try to respond. I don't see a festival the goal tonight.
No. Okay. Yeah, I just think they're both two teams that have many talented offensive pieces. So
Yeah, I not say you're wrong about
yeah,
that. I
yeah,
just feel
yeah.
like
It could
that.
be. It could
You know what
go
I mean?
either way.
Sometimes I feel like that way. So
Yeah, it could go either way. I could
but
see
the way
that.
I do my prediction, I'll be wrong anyway. No big deal. Big game again for Minnesota tonight. Colorado play Saturday, Minnesota Tap against Dallas,
Yeah,
and then the Kings play Edmonton Thursday night. So yeah, a couple of great games coming in front of us
huge.
for the standing about this. And Alan, those guys, I'm turning out they are right now. And I don't have to win tonight, Minnesota Tap. I will tell you why. Because they play Carolina Saturday. So if you look about the schedule a bit longer, you have to say, okay, this game I cannot lose. And that's what Pittsburgh last night have to win against Detroit. That's what Winnipeg last night have to beat because you go a little bit, okay, maybe I can lose against Boston or a better team, right? But I cannot lose against the team lower in the standing. Not work about that one over there. So Montreal
Yeah,
have to watching
they have.
Arizona because Montreal are behind. So we'll see what happening about this. Anything you want to look about this? We have a couple of concerts. Willie Snyder is in the house. Welcome back, Mr. Willie Snyder. Thanks for
No,
being back in the
I
show.
was just gonna say, with regards to the Islanders, they have two games, including tonight, obviously, against Washington. And then they also have, as you said, Carolina coming up, and Tampa Bay. Those are their two toughest games. But they also have Philadelphia and Montreal. So if they can just, that's what, 2, 4, 6 games. If they could just go, I think 500, they should have no problem.
Yeah, 500 would be good. I think if they can get like they have what 75 game already. So they
Yeah,
play
they have
tonight.
six.
They have 7 game to go, right? 6, 7, 8, 9,
Yes,
1, 2. Oh, yeah, 6 game to go.
seven.
7. So 7 game to go. If they can finish 4-3, they are all in.
Yeah, yeah.
At
For sure.
Pittsburgh, they have to finish with 8 game to go. They have to finish them 5-3 minimum.
Exactly.
So 5-3, they get put in Florida to win it. And remember, the tiebreaker is Florida guys over Pittsburgh. So if ever is square, both teams finish 80 and 93 points,
The road.
example, right? They are going to have Florida have the tiebreaker against Pittsburgh, Mr. Tap.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that's happening here, Mr. Tap. But before we leave, we invite you. What are you looking for tonight, Mr. Tap, before you get out here?
Well, all three of them have huge implications, right? We talked about the Islanders having to win. Florida has to win. And of course, Colorado wants to once and for all get into first place. So we'll see if Minnesota allows that.
We want to welcome back Randy N in the house. Welcome back, Randy. Primo was pretty good overall for me. He kept Montreal in the game when they have a lot of breakaway and they have at least Kevin Ace one time. He make the big save at the right time. Not good enough to get that W. But, I think for me, for one game like that, he showed a lot of characters. Yeah, I see a little bit more square, better control, rebound, still a lot of work to do. But I think compared to what I saw in the past, I see more calm, more confidence. But again, it's only one game. I was happy about this performance. Just a boring game, Randy. Not about Primo, but the game overall. It was happening. So that a game we're going to remember forever. But we want to welcome everybody to remain. Thanks to all the moderators, all the people in the chat. Don't forget to be back tomorrow night, 6 o'clock p.m. But tonight, 9 o'clock, join me. We talk about the drama between Ken Hughes and Martin St. Louis. Maybe right now they are the Tim Horton. I don't know, but we'll see.
You are awesome. You are amazing. You are the best. And remember, you have greatness inside of you.
You have greatness inside of you. Thanks so much, everybody. The Road Runner was here tonight. Thanks so much, everybody. To games, I can't wait to see you at 9 o'clock until 10. Of course, be well, be healthy. We not only dominate your day, finally, we dominate the first half of the. What,
You're
Mr.
20, 23.
You did it again. By the way, Mr. Tap, we can leave. We cannot leave, Mr. Tap. We cannot leave.
Uh-oh.
We cannot leave. We have to wait.
One more. Uh-oh. You're late, Dixon. You're late.
He just pop up in the driveway, Mr. Tap. That's happening about him. I just want to mention to you about that. So he just pop up, and Mr. White Nissan is in the house, Mr. Tap. I'm talking about Dixon Automotive Group. Welcome back, everybody. Thanks to be with us tonight, Mr. Nissan. I can wait till next
time. We're gonna have to sit him down for the next show. I don't know. We'll have
why not send him to the jail? Here we go, Miles. Thanks so much, everybody. Thanks for joining us, Mr. Tap. You did it again. Have an amazing, great night, Mr. Tap.
Good night, everyone.